Welcome to my acupuncture practice. My name is Abigail Surasky, and I've been practicing acupuncture for over 30 years. A lot of times my patients ask me how I got into acupuncture in the first place. And I can tell you, as a kid growing up back east in inner city Philadelphia in the 70s in South Philadelphia, acupuncture was definitely not in my vocabulary. So I actually discovered acupuncture soon after I moved out here to California in 1982. I was 20 years old at the time, which gives you a sense of how old I am now. And that was after having been a flute major in high school, which was an amazing experience. I played classical music, had a chance to play with the Philadelphia Orchestra, but decided that that was not the direction I wanted to go into at the time. So I ended up going to a small private Quaker college in Indiana, of all places, Earlham College, which was also a wonderful experience. But again, I was ready for something different. So I moved all the way out to California, moved to Santa Cruz with the intention of ultimately going to UC Santa Cruz. In the meantime, I got a little distracted and studied massage as I discovered this whole world of alternative health, and I found it very fascinating. So I became a body worker, and I loved doing that work, but I also felt somewhat limited by it in terms of how much I could help people, and it also intellectually I was craving something a little bit more rigorous. So as it turned out, right around that time, UC Santa Cruz was promoting a panel, kind of a conference on various different modalities of alternative medicine. So I started with the acupuncturist, and it was so fascinating to me that I could not leave that room for the rest of the day. I was only 22 years old at the time, and I knew this is what I want to do. So as luck would have it, I got a flyer in the mail, or brochure in the mail, not long after that there was a new acupuncture college opening up in Santa Cruz. So I told my parents, whose response was, "You want to do what?" So it took a little while to work with them on that, but eventually I enrolled at Five Branches University in Santa Cruz, which is still going strong, and I'm proud to say that I was in the second graduating class for that school in 1987. So it was a very rigorous 3-year program, at the end of which we had to take a state board exam, both orals and written, and it was very competitive. Only 26% of the people passed at that point, and I was in the 26%, which of course I was very happy about. So to celebrate, I went to Asia to take a break. Went to Bali, Java, had a great time for this 3-month vacation. But at the end of that vacation, I really wasn't ready to come back. I felt a very strong affinity with the cultures in Asia, and I wanted to stay a little bit longer. So I ended up moving to Taiwan and getting work there, running a school, teaching English for children, 300 kids. I was co-running that whole school, and I got to learn Mandarin while I was there. So while I was there, I really immersed myself in the culture and made very close friends and felt really, again, like a very strong affinity with the Chinese culture. So my next step was to go to mainland China, which I did finally in 1990. So at that point, I got to travel around and stay with families and visit clinics and hospitals and see acupuncture and Chinese herbology practiced in its native setting, which was very fascinating and interesting to me. Eventually, I came back to the United States. I got back here toward the end of 1990 to San Francisco, which was at the peak of the AIDS epidemic. So my first position that I got when I got back was working as a clinic supervisor at Kuan Yin Healing Arts Center in San Francisco, which was a groundbreaking AIDS clinic that integrated Eastern and Western medicine for the treatment of things that Western medicine at that point in time didn't have much to offer. So we specialized in HIV and AIDS. We specialized in hepatitis B and C, women's health, stress, all of these things that patients were seeking help for but were having trouble finding any real solutions for. And Chinese medicine at that time had so much to offer. So it was a wonderful experience. I had a very busy practice there for about 5 years. And then I was ready to move to the East Bay and start a family and shift my focus to fertility. So I've been in the East Bay since about 95, practicing here and treating other things like pain and autoimmune issues and even the common cold and various other things. So as acupuncturists, even when we have specialties, we tend to be generalists who know a lot about everything. I'm very lucky that I get to do something that I love and have a profession where I'm constantly learning, and that I'm here in Berkeley and get to work with really great people in my practice. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me anytime. You can also schedule an appointment online very easily, and I hope to see you. Thank you.